Welcome to the Emanations of Light Podcast. I'm your host, Audrey. Welcome back to this week's podcast, everybody. It's going to be pretty short. But before we begin, if you're new to my podcast, I'm Audrey. I serve as a Divine Ascension guide, healer, and multidimensional artist. And, all my links will be provided in the description page if you desire to work with me or purchase any of my sacred malas. So, as I said, today's emanation is just going to be a really short, heartfelt emanation that just kind of came through. I wasn't sure if I was actually going to do an episode, but it just kind of came in really strong. So, it's just more of a heartfelt emanation on the current energies. And then I'm just going to talk a little bit about the ascending timeline. So I hope, first of all, everyone is faring well with these current energies that we're getting blasted by. Looks like August just started off with a bang. The intensity went up a notch, and oh my God, oh boy. I know right now for many of us, we're going through so much. And you know what? Some days feel like we're in this pressure cooker. And, from everything from the heat waves, weather, the catastrophes of fires, the exhaustion, confusion, anxiety, and all the other challenges that we have to face on a regular basis, it can be overwhelming. And I have to share, just like everybody else, I'm feeling it. I feel it from waves of calm, expansion to being stretched beyond my little limitations. And I've been through many challenges, from deaths to rebirths, financial stress, moves, change, and so much more over the last couple of years too. And I can attest on how difficult this ascension process can be and really is. There's no doubt about that these dark nights of the soul's initiations will definitely take you to the brink and back, and then sometimes circle back. And oh my God, it totally sucks. And then, on the days that I feel that I'm getting hammered, honestly, sometimes I wonder, why the heck did my soul choose some of these initiations that I've had to endure and go through? And, it's just beyond me. Yet we continue on, and we must. Even when it all seems impossible and it's, just utterly exhausting. And I'm always amazed by the human spirit on how much the capacity to overcome and still choose love. And it's the essence of love that always prevails and can literally move mountains. Maybe this is why our hearts are constantly getting targeted on this ongoing spiritual battle we find ourselves in. And if you haven't already noticed we are in one, then just take pause and look around. You see it everywhere, from the ways we turn against each other, in the ways that life has and wants to disappoint us, creates division, in the ways, the governments want to control us, spy on us, and create hostile inhabitants, or environments, in all the ways companies try to manipulate us by overcharging for cheaper products and goods and so forth. It's a constant bombardment to the human spirit, and it's a way to try to break us down. And especially those of us who are awake and aware, the battles and the targeting at times is overwhelming, exhausting, and utterly painful. But we know that it's part of this game in the illusionary world. And yet we continue on every day with resolve, tenacity, and love's grace, because we know that love is the only way through this. This love is so different from what most people think it is, because this love is pure. And it doesn't come with conditions attached to it, honestly, because it's true unconditional love. And it's the technology of the heart. Now, I'm not saying that we don't feel pain, discomfort, disappointment, anger, etc., because we do, and I certainly do. But this is where the inner work happens. It's about learning to alchemize our emotions, pains, etc., into something good, instead of getting consumed by it or creating more of the same nonsense. And it's not easy, but it's why we came here. There are many here right now doing this sacred work, alchemizing their pain and the pain of the collective into something sacred known as the ascending timeline, the new earth timeline. And it's available to all. The spiritual awakening journey is available to anyone who finally decides to take the leap, no matter where you are. But the only caveat is that you must not only have the desire to awaken and ascend, but you must also do the inner work and alchemize the shadow bits, your karma, and raise your frequency and become fully self-aware. And then once you begin to realize your own divinity, you are less likely to wait for an external force to come save you, because you realize this is within you. This is why I speak on the subject so much of divine spiritual sovereignty, because it's remembering who you are as this amazing spiritual being in this small compacted suit. And right now, the stardust is stirring in you, and it's trying to break you free from all the limited circumstances, thoughts, constructs, dynamics, emotional struggles, and so forth. Excuse me. This is why perhaps it feels so heavy right now for so many, because the soul, your spirit, is way more powerful than the mind. The way you have been conditioned to think, to live, to do, to be, it doesn't suit your spirit anymore. And it is perhaps yearning for more than we've allowed ourselves to settle for. And I honestly think right now, especially, we're being asked to return back to the heart, home, to your true self, to your true source, to divinity, to divine intelligence. And with that comes divine trust in this unfolding, no matter how it may appear. It's asking all of us to live with super duper courage. And trust me, I'm in it right this second. And it's interesting that we find ourselves in the energies of August, the lion, right? So perhaps we're being asked to live with that heart of the lion. And, it's time to begin asking ourselves, are you ready for that? And perhaps that may look like moving away from the inorganic life, the artificial AI-driven world, from the condemning ego-driven consciousness and the patriarchal ways that have pervaded our world for way too long. And finally return to what is truly sacred. Real connections, organic relationships, organic products, more time in nature, which I long for, trust me. Peace in our hearts and our minds, harmony with each other and the animals, unity consciousness. It's about restoring balance to our own feminine and masculine self. So there's unity within and out. Awakening is sacred remembrance that lives within your DNA, your heart. And once that is activated, you can never turn back. And you eventually can find yourself on the path of the ascending new earth timeline. And there, we can all gather together in sacred space together. And that's unity consciousness. And that's living in the heart. That is heart-based coherence. That is divine intelligence. And this is what I long for. Okay. I said it was going to be nice and short and sweet. So that's all I have. And I hope you've enjoyed today's emanation. And if you'd like to learn more about living in the heart and begin opening yourself up to these 144 divine qualities of love, because that's what they are, the sacred knowledge and teaching is the blueprint for heart coherence living, and it's for the new earth timeline. I'm going to provide you all with this link to this amazing teaching from our beloved mentor who has brought forth this information and teaching for humanity at this pivotal time we find ourselves in. It's called the Magdalene Codex, and you can purchase your copy and you can begin your sacred journey back home. Okay, my beloved friends, that's it for now. I send you all so much love and blessings. Bye. Bye for now.